Hi there everybody, it's Verity here from inkybutterfly.com. Thank you so much for joining me today for another card making video. This one is for our Project Share blog hop. So if you click in the description, there's a link to my blog and you'll be able to see the whole of the Project Share group links from my blog. So we do this once a month, first Saturday of the month. With a different theme. There's just a small group of us, it's only 4 of us, so it doesn't take long to go through them all, but obviously if you can spare the time to go and check that out, that would be really marvellous to help to support those guys as well. This month we are casing the catalogue, so there is no sample in front of you today because my sample is basically going to be from the catalogue, and I'm going to use that as a basis for the card I'm going to create today. So casing, copy and share everything is one of those one version of that acronym, but essentially what you're doing is using an idea as a sort of sounding board, a bit like you would a sketch or something like that, to create an idea. And this is a really good way. So the catalogue's obviously full of ideas on how to use stuff, and you can take bits of this and bits of that and create something of your own. And sometimes you just need that spark of an idea or what colour combination to use. So whilst I don't use a lot of designer series papers often have colour combinations in them, like these scrapbook papers for this scrapbook kit. They're not scrapbook papers, but designer series paper that goes with this scrapbook kit. It's got the Secret Sea with whatever this colour is. What's this? Oh, and it gives you the idea. So Secret Sea, Real Red, Cherry Cobbler, Pool Party, Old Olive, and what a great combination that is. And this page has given me an idea of how I want to use some of the colours alongside this card design here. Okay. So this is going to be my launch pad for what I'm going to do today alongside that colour combination. And if you look on this one, I don't know which paper that is in the background, but that's got sort of blue, red and green in it as well. So I'm taking that blue, red and green idea. Okay, so I'm going to be using these, I think. So I think I'm going to use Night of Navy, Real Red, Shaded Spruce and Old Olive as my colour combination. The sentiment is seasonal tags, so we'll keep seasonal tags in, and we've got these lovely little trees. So we're going to use this sort of idea, but instead of using these these gold tags from the ephemera pack, I'm actually going to make arches out of the Everyday Arches set. And instead of a plaid paper, I'm going to use the plaid embossing folder to make the background. Can you see that? Yeah. Okay. So that's where I'm going with it. And I think I've got an idea of how I'm going to recreate this sort of gold element at the bottom as well. So that's what we're going for, basically. So it's going to be less of a tag and just an arch shaped topper. Okay, right, let's put that where it's not going to bury things. Okay, so let's make a start. I'm going to put these in there, so out of the way for a second. I've got my stamps out already. Okay, so Night of Navy card base is what I'm going to use. So I've got that ready to go. Pop that over there. And I've got some of the two-tone cardstock. I've got some Real Red. And I've got some Night of Navy. Okay. So I'm actually going to do the plaid on some navy. I'm not going to worry about it being too straight. So we'll get that embossed. So on your die cut machine, this is a 3D embossing folder. So I just need my base plate and my dark grey plate. So we'll sandwich that together, get my dark grey plate here. And we're going to run that through. Okay. and we've got these bits of cardstock. So sort of a tone-on-tone background if you like, but I'm going to use the real red to create a border around this. So this is a little bigger than it needs to be because there's sometimes the embossing, because it's so deep, shrinks because of it undulating, it shrinks down, right? So it's a little bigger than it needs to be right now. And I'm going to use this bit with the hole as my layer. Okay, so we're going to have this lovely pop of red around the outside. Okay, so let's just put that to one side for a second. Let's trim this down. So a normal the card layer would be 5 3/4. Let's just check that is 5 3/4 before. Yeah. So let's take that down to 5 1/2. Just cut a little bit gently on that, and you've got this really useful little bit. You know what? I might save that to one side in case I decide to pop it behind the sentiment. So I'd normally be at 4, so I'm going to take off 1/4 inch like I did with the other dimension, the other measurement. I'll take off that 1/4 inch as well, and then that should fit nicely onto this. I think this is wider than it needs to be. Is it 5 3/4? Yep. Just check that is 4. Yeah, it is. Okay, so that should fit on there nicely. Yep, that's fine, and no one's ever going to know that there was a hole behind it. Okay, so we'll pop that together and pop it onto the card base. So I'm just going to use some seal for this. Just do it slowly. Sometimes the seal will snag that embossing and tear the cardstock a bit. So just roll it slowly over the top of that texture and get that lined up. So it's a bit of a, it's twice, I usually do a skinnier border than this, but I wanted this red, you know, to be there, not just hidden away. It's going to be a feature. It's a bit wibbly wobbly, so just take your time to line that up. Use wet glue if that's your preference. And we'll get this stuck to the card base. A little bit of extra just to compensate for that wibbly wobbliness from the embossing. You shouldn't need too much, and again, you know, use the adhesive that you're comfortable with. I just like seal because it's fast, don't have to wait for anything to dry, and I don't get in the mess. Right, so there's our fun textured base with that tartan look. Okay, to bring in that blue and red. Okay, so now I need to work out what size arches I need. So I need my die cut plates back. Excuse me. I don't know what it is about switching on this camera. It makes me sneeze. I'm not allergic to videos as far as I'm aware, but right. I think it's just that fact that you, yeah. Right. Don't want it too big, and these don't want to stick to the little adhesive anymore because I use them a lot. Okay, those two look good. Oh, there we go. That seems to be, as luck would have it, that seems to be just right because I don't want them too big. And again, I want to put a red border, so I'm going to cut one in red and cut one in white, so then I get that border around the edge, and I think we're going to go with those ones. So goodness knows which size these they are. It might be 4 and 5. Okay, but obviously, you know, you choose the size that's going to suit your project best. So big one's going to be in real red, little one in white willow. wonder if I've got a bit of white willow that's big enough without having to cut into anything. Oh, I don't know whether that's going to be. Oh, might just about fit, you know. Ooh, look at that. Isn't that lucky? So let's. So as long as your cutting edge isn't overhanging that, yeah. Oh, it might just be a little bit tight, but I think it will do. So let's run that one through first and see how we get on with that. Where's my top plate? There it is. Let's peel that away gently. Oh, there's just a little bit that's nibbled out of it, but I reckon we could cover that up. There's just a little bit that's just, you can see it on that look. Right, let's pop that away. And then this one's definitely not going to work that way around, so we'll tuck this one. Well, actually what I could do is do what I did with the other piece. Now this is a larger than a card front, so it seems wasteful to do it in the middle, but I could do exactly what I did with this one and actually then use it as a border if I needed one. So I'm going to do that. And just as a top tip for running this through, right, so if you were to run this through your emboss, Stampin' Cut and Emboss, the rollers are going to hit that hard edge. So you could do it that way, but again, when you get to this bottom bit, it's going to hit that edge. So I always send mine through on the wonk, really, basically. So I sort of send through one of the corners first, and then that makes it much easier to cut. Okay, so long as it's not hanging off the edge of your plates, it'll go through the opening on your machine. And if you can imagine that smaller for a second, or well, we'll use this one, right, so that there, but I could get that sort of, you know, only has to be slightly, and you only have to roll it through part of the way and then back again, so that the more of an angle that you put it on, the less you have to roll it through. Just one of those. Okay, so that bit I can use again, and then this is going to be our layer behind that, and you get this lovely little stitching on this die as well, which is cool. So that's all going to sort of help tie the whole thing together. Okay, and speaking of tying, we might add some ribbon across that to hide that, or we could hide it with something else, because what colour is this? This is garden green. This is garden green, and I wasn't intending on using garden green, but I might use garden green if it means, or I could just add it, who cares. Yeah, might be an option. Right, let's put those dies back in their packet before they go walkabouts, because that's what will happen, they will go walkabouts. So let's just pop those back in. I actually really like these arch dies as something different. And the other thing, you could double die cut this, so you could put the same die over the top and make it into an oval if you would wish to. Okay, right, so I think well, we'll see whether we need to do any more die cutting in a bit. So with this, there's that gold embossing or gold foil that I want to emulate. So I'm going to grab my embossing additions. Okay, so your additions kit comes with your tray, a little brush, some tweezers and an anti-static bag. Versamark ink, sold separately, to do your embossing with. So the anti-static is useful because you don't want, if you don't want things, your powder to stick to places that it shouldn't. So we'll just dust that over the top. I'm going to need a scrap piece of paper. Scrap piece of paper. This will do. November's planner page that I don't need anymore because November is now over. I cannot believe we're into the December already. And I'm actually going to just swipe this across the bottom in a little bit of a haphazard way, and it will turn out how it turns out. Okay, and we'll use some gold embossing powder. And chuck that on and see how it looks. Cool. So I'm going to get that sort of gold edge, okay, using embossing powder. Okay, so we'll just pop that to one side just for a second while I clear away the powder. Sharp tap. And then, of course, we can use the tweezers to hold on to that. If there were any flecks of powder, you could use the brush and just sweep it away. Okay, I'm not super fussed, if I'm honest. Okay, so we can do that. And then we're going to heat emboss this. So I'm going to run the heat tool to warm up a little bit, just down to the side of me. That's going to be a little bit louder. Hopefully it's not too loud while I'm speaking just now. And I'm going to gently heat this along the back, and it will go nice and shiny. Okay, and hopefully you'll be able to see it on camera. It's like crafter's alchemy. Making gold. Okay, so I'm going to bring the heat tool in now. It's going to be a little bit louder. Some people like this noise. If you do, turn it up as loud as you like. If you don't, just mute it for a second while I get this done. Okay, so if you're wondering why I heated it from the back, you often get a smoother effect if you heat from the back, okay, rather than a bubbly effect. Okay, but there we go, that looks super cool. Okay, so there's an idea for you if you wanted to create, you know, this sort of distressed look. You can also, if you can imagine you were layering that, you could do it all the way around the edge and make your own faux gold, silver, copper, like foil card, without necessarily having foil card to hand. Okay, so as per our design that we're copying, we just need to pop some little trees on there. It will bend a little bit with the heat, especially on this thinner willow, white willow cardstock, but it'll be fine. You just bend it back into shape. Okay, so my intention was to use actually, yeah, the ribbon's going to get in the way of the little trees. It's fine, we'll sort it. I'm going to use shaded spruce and old olive because we want to have that sort of it looks like they're some are in the background and some are in the foreground, so we'll get those open and we'll do some light tapping on the ink pad and we'll attempt to get these trees straight. And it's not straight on my block, so it's fine. So I think we'll do middle, left and right, comme ça, and then we'll do our olive ones slightly higher and in between. Oh, well, it wasn't that much higher. Okay, there's our little row of trees. Do you know what? I'm going to take them off the edge as well. So there's our little row of trees. I've done mine closer together than the sample, I think, but again, it's your card. Oh, I was going to do, I forgot to do my tone on tone. I was going to put some sprigs of, oh, I can do it a different way. I was going to put navy, use navy ink to ink this first and then emboss it, so you would get like the little sprigs on there. But do you know what? Let's do it on here. It'll only be really, really super subtle, but I think it'd be cool. So what I mean is, I was just going to add it to the edge here, just to add some texture, and it's not going to show much once we layer it all together, but I think it'd be nice, a little bit of interest. Okay, it would show more on the light side obviously, but like I say, I'm just going for something a little bit more subtle. Yeah, and it's only going to peek out, but it's just going to give it something, and that's going to be really hard to see on camera. Want to get that red ink off though. Let's just get that off. I do love photopolymer, but I really don't love the fact that it stains. Oh dear. Even though it's a sign that it's good quality photopolymer, because it's obviously taking on the ink. I really hate the fact that it stains. I like things to look clean. Okay, the red is going to be used in a minute, but let's just cover it up before there's a mishap. Okay, and actually no, I need to stamp the sentiment on this, don't I? So in the sample, the larger, the happy in this case, I'm going to switch to Merry Christmas because that's obviously more traditional for this country. Stamps directly onto the tag, and then the other bit goes underneath. So we'll get our Merry. I'm tempted to do it in navy actually. I think that might pull it together more if it's in the navy. What do you think? I might do a mix. I might do the navy for the Merry, and do the Christmas in red, just to pull all those colours together, you know. So I'm going to pop this in on to this oval as high as it will go without looking weird inside those stitch lines, so off on a jaunty angle. Yeah, cute. Cute. The dark colours are hard to so on camera that might look quite black, but I assure you it's not. I assure you. So I think we're done with navy. Okay, so I'm just going to give that a bit to dry then, and we'll use, let's see, have I got some strips? Here we go, there's a strip. I bet you that'll be, yeah. So we'll use this little offcut that we've got here. It's probably a 1/4 inch or something. See how the ink's gotten inside the letters there. Now you want to make sure there's no bubble in there. If there's a bubble, it will definitely like fill in the letter and it'll look blotchy. So let's just try that again without getting a bubble on it. Okay, and we'll, excuse me, if just in case my hood appears in the top of this camera, try and get that straight on this strip. There we go. So there's our Christmas that we can chop down in whatever way we want. So again, I want to just get that ink off there. Just get that chamois on there. Right, I think we're done with ink. I think. Okie dokie. So this should be dry enough to stick down now. Okay, just bending that a little bit just to make sure. So we'll put plenty of adhesive on the back of this. I'm going to layer it on this other tag. I keep calling it a tag, even though it's not actually a tag. And I reckon we need something popped up on some dimensionals because I haven't done that yet. So let's do that. One at the top. There's one left on the sheet, so let's just pop that in the middle. I don't throw away that though. I keep hold of those. You can snip it and put it behind sentiments and all sorts of things. So in fact, there's another sheet that I'm already snipping into, so I'll use that in a minute for the sentiment probably. I'll show you exactly what I mean by that. Okay, let's take these off. And we'll pop that onto our card. The red and navy looks so cool. There we go. Looks nice, right? And actually you can barely tell what that little bit's missing. She says. Okay, right, so let's trim this down. I've got a little mini trimmer. This is not a Stampin' Up product. It's just something I happened to find somewhere that was ridiculously cheap. And I thought, you know what, that's perfect for just little quick things that I just want to just quickly chop down. I don't know whether I actually like it off to the side like that, which is how it appears in the catalogue. I think I might cut this into my own little banner. So I'm going to cut that down on the other end, and then we'll snip in a little banner. So I'm just going to snip in roughly central. Let's do it actually central, and then go in from the corner, and you will get a banner. But because I did 2 cuts, that's made that look awkward. I'll do it properly on the other end. It's still not even. That one's better. In from the corner. And in from the corner. Stampin' Snips are awesome. Such a shame that they're not available at the moment. Hopefully there'll be some alternatives that are just as awesome, because they cut very accurately all the way to the tip, which makes these kinds of things really easy to do. So like I was saying with the dimensionals, right, so if you have the strips at the end, I'm going to cut off 4 of these little triangles. Now I've got some scissors specifically for sticky stuff. I don't use my snips for sticky stuff. And if you coat them in WD-40, they don't stick up too much. And if they do get gummy, WD-40 gets it off. I think there's stuff called glue gone in America that does a similar thing. So those little edge strips are perfect for this kind of thing. And we can pop this on here. Like so. Oh, it's lovely. Oh, so cute. So cute. Right, we need embellishments. Just needs a bit of this something, and I'm thinking I'd like to bring in a bit more gold. And off the top of my head, I've got no idea what I've got that's available in gold. Let's see. I've still got some of the the low profile dots. I think they're on last chance. As you can see, I haven't used many of the those are petal pink. I've used all the gold ones, but not the petal pink ones. Let's do our usual set of 3. So let's pop in these. Like so. Oh, it's pretty. Love it, love it. Might need to make a petal pink card and use up some of those other dots. There we go. So, how do you like that then? Okay, so let's just grabbing the catalogue so you can see the original one and how I use that. So I think the only element I really haven't sort of brought in is like the whole tag element by using the twine. If I was going to, I'd use this stuff, this black and white and gold baker's twine from the is it Modern Christmas Suite. Still could add a little bow on that. Okay, let's cut a length of that off, just see how it looks. Oh no, do it proper, do it the way you know how to do it, Verity. Don't try and do it a fancy way. Right, so let's see. Grab that end before it disappears on me. I made that look really awkward. I was just doing the bunny ear method, but because it's twirly, it's twirled around a spool, it sort of takes on a life of its own. My tails aren't very even, but I only want a little teeny one. And it's kind of like this because it's got the metallic in it, which is more of a sort of slippery material, if that's a word, if that's a phrase. You have to pull it quite tight to get it to sit properly as a bow. And getting it even. There we go, got it. I only want little teeny tiny bow. Right, let's cut those tails off. If you pinch them together and cut them at the same time, they'll be even, or even-ish. And of course, the best way to stick any kind of bow or whatever is with a glue dot. So I'm not going to stick it on, but you get the idea. You could have tacked that on, if you know, that could have been an idea to sort of hide that little doodad there, but I don't think it particularly goes with the layout of the design. So, but it's an optional extra if you wanted to use the twine. Okay, right, I've rambled. So that's it from me today. I hope you like it. Don't forget, the catalogue's full of ideas that you can mix, match and modify to suit your own card making style. Don't forget, this is part of a blog hop. Do check out the links in the description to see what everyone else has made, and of course there are links to all the products if you are interested in looking at those in more detail in the online store. Okay, lovely jubbly. Thanks ever so much, everybody. Happy December, not long to go till the big day. Hope everyone's staying safe. Take care, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.